Goomba! The slimes of platformers. The weakest enemy. Or so you'd... Actually, nah, Goombas are pretty pathetic. Though we have seen plenty of strong Goombas over the years, so hey, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, so long as they, stop walking off of ledges. Regardless, as far as underlings go, they are still one of the most iconic in video game history. The Goomba species were originally just another resident of the Mushroom Kingdom alongside their toad cousins, though this changed when the great and terrible King Bowser invaded the land. A large number of Goombas chose to turn traitorous of their homeland and join the Koopa clan, though I keep seeing mixed reasons as to why they did. Some say it's to get back at the Toads for being smarter than them, others say they just wanted the Mushroom Kingdom for themselves. No matter the reason, they serve Bowser now, and as a result, have become doormats to be stepped on by the Mario Brothers. But not today! This Goomba is putting its foot down, and it'll show everyone once and for all that the Goomba race is not to be taken lightly. And I can think of no better place to be able to prove yourself than the world of Super Smash Bros. So jumping right onto things, the Goomba would be a fairly light character. It'd have two kind of pathetic jumps and no additional movement options. Using the same design philosophy used for another certain member of the Koopa clan, the Goomba's moveset will pull from abilities and traits of numerous types of Goombas from the family tree. Or, I guess in this case, the fungi tree. Making this specific Goomba the Super Scroll of Goombas. A Super Goomba! Two more and we can make a TV show. And starting with its jab, it can have a 2-hit semi-spammable jab where Goomba uses its other most defined body part aside from its big noggin. Its feet. The first hit will be a simple straight kick, then it can follow up with a spinning roundhouse kick with the other foot for the second hit. For Goomba's dash attack, it can be a combination reference of the generic charge attack that Goombas have in the 3D Mario titles, as well as the attack that we see from them in the Subspace Emissary back in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Goomba does a charging tackle, then breaks. Being in Goomba's way while it tackles will launch foes forwards, while getting hit by Goomba as it breaks acts as more of a sour spot. Its side tail can have it use the same kind of biting attack that we see used in Super Mario RPG, though this one lacks that initial flip, it only bites forwards. Foes who get bit won't be launched very far, but it does still hurt. After all, those fangs aren't just for show. Or at least I assume they're not. The up tilt can have Goomba do a quick little straight jump to attempt to head bonk foes who are above it, and the down tilt can have Goomba do a single somersault, rolling forwards to gain a little distance and to launch foes on contact. This references Goomba's attack in Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. For Goomba's side smash, it can go all in and charge straight forwards to tackle anyone in its way with its whole body, but then trip at the end of its run. Even when it tries its best, it still fumbles at the end. Foes caught in this attack will be dragged along as Goomba charges, then be launched when it trips. Also, be careful when using this attack towards a ledge. True to Goomba's incapability to turn around at them, Goomba will actually fall off the stage if you use the side smash right next to a ledge. I mean, at least it can recover this time around, but still. For the up smash, Goomba will once again do a quick jumping head bonk, but this time it'll be wearing the spiked helmet of the Spiny Goombas. It's a lot more powerful, and getting hit by the spike itself hurts quite a bit of its sweet spots, but it does have a bit more end lag than the up tilt does. However, as a fun detail, Goomba will put the helmet on as it charges, and any foe trying to come in for an aerial attack will regret not choosing the hammer option, as touching the spike at all will deal a little bit of damage. Hey, I never said the foes wouldn't find it fun. Goomba certainly would, though. The attack overall is great, especially when challenged to most games of Chicken, since the spike is disjointed and can easily beat out most attacks while keeping Goomba safe. Use this wisely, and people will think twice before trying to step on this Goomba again. And for the down smash, it can have Goomba grow a Tanuki tail, the same kind that we see on the Tanoombas in the Mario and Luigi series, as well as what we see on the Goombas in Super Mario 3D Land. Once the tail is out, it'll have Goomba do a single spin to swing its tail across the ground from front to back, just like we see the aforementioned tail Goombas do in their own games. It's a strong attack, but be careful, because the tail does count as a part of Goomba's hurt box. For its neutral aerial, Goomba could spin vertically a few times while holding its feet into opposite directions. Foes hit by this at all will be launched on contact. The idea for this attack came from the startup animation that Goomba will do when powered up in the dual mode of Mario Party 3. The best Mario Party game, by the way. So good, in fact, that even its forward air comes from it, being the actual drop kick that Goomba uses in that dual mode, kicking a foot forward from low to high. The back air, though, will actually come from an attack used by Goomboss, back when it was known as King Goomba in Paper Mario, having Goomba spin and do a horizontal kick behind itself. The up air can reference the Goomba's stun animation whenever Mario uses the spin attack on them in Super Mario Galaxy, having Goomba flip upside down and spin while holding its feet towards the air. This move will trap foes, racking up damage until they're launched away. Touching any part of Goomba's body will do this, but getting hit by its feet specifically will launch foes straight upwards, whereas being launched by any other part of the body will just send foes into awkward upward angles. And the down air can simply have Goomba stomp both of its feet straight down, a move that makes a subtle nod to the dive attack that we see from Para-Goombas in the Paper Mario games, and it can spike if it sweet spots. Despite possibly having psychokinetic powers or just invisible arms, Goomba will grab by biting foes and then pummel by kicking at them while they're stuck in its mouth. The forward throw could reference that flipping animation that Goombas do to attack in Mario RPG, having Goomba do a front flip while still lashed onto the foe and toss them forwards. The back throw can simply have Goomba turn to toss the foe backwards. The up throw can have Goomba head bonk the foe into the air, and the down throw can have Goomba take revenge for all the years that it's been stepped on and jump on the foe, dealing damage and bouncing them away. While one Goomba by itself is no problem, if a bunch of them were present, then they might be able to create something that resembles a threat. So for its neutral special, Goomba will use its spores to spawn mini Goombas. Upon activation, a mini Goomba will appear from a cloud in front of Goomba, then run forwards as a makeshift little projectile. On the ground, they just dash forwards, and in the air, they fall with a bit of forwards momentum, and they keep going until they walk off the stage or until they're taken out by other players, which can be done by attacking them or stepping on them. If a mini Goomba, though, manages to touch a foe, they latch onto the foe like little parasites and slowly rack up damage, so kinda like Pikmin. Unlike Pikmin, though, once they fall off, they just disappear. But also unlike Pikmin, mini Goombas will weigh foes down, worsening their jump and causing the foe to fall a little faster, with the weight increasing the more mini Goombas that are latched on. Foes can of course use attacks to try to knock them off, but jumping a lot will also force them to fall off as well. Regardless, this can be a big help to Goomba, which, may I remind you guys, has a pretty bad jump. Plus, your foes can't jump on you if they can't jump at all, am I right? 3 mini Goombas will be allowed to exist on screen per Goomba at a time, and if a 4th one is made, then the first one will automatically disappear. For Goomba's side special, when I said earlier that Goomba's putting its foot down, I meant it, cause it'll be using the Goomba Shoe! Upon activation, Goomba will spawn a shoe around itself and enter a kind of temporary mini moveset. Goomba in the shoe controls nearly identically to how it does when you have Mario take control over it in Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario Maker. You can move left and right, with the shoe's max speed being faster than Goomba's walk but slower than its run, and you can do a single jump. While in the shoe, Goomba is safe from all damage that comes from below, being able to step or bounce off of hazardous terrain and won't take damage from opponents' attacks from below. That said, if Goomba is hit by any attacks from foes, regardless of the angle, this will cause it to lose the shoe. though you can retreat from the shoe at any point by pressing any button aside from the jump button, and this will have Goomba jump upwards out of the shoe, which could act as a kind of extra jump for recovery purposes. Once the shoe is abandoned, it'll disappear as soon as it touches the ground, so immediately if left on the ground, or until it hits the ground if dropped in the air, but it will disappear sooner if it collides with a foe on the way down, which will deal some small flinching damage, so it could be used as a gimping tool. And when the shoe is lost or abandoned, Goomba will have to wait for about 7 seconds to pull out a new one. Trying to do so sooner will result in Goomba looking confused, leaving it vulnerable. Goomba is able to remain in the shoe for as long as you want, though it's not recommended to be in it all the time, since Goomba can't use any other specials, attacks, or even shield or dodge while in the shoe, since pressing any of those buttons will just result in Goomba jumping out. So your options are much more limited, but in terms of offense, landing on top of any foe will damage them, and if you're able to step on a foe at the moment Goomba starts to fall while in the shoe, then it will result in a meteor spike. Now for the Goomba's up special, this could have it take flight and turn into a Para-Goomba. Pressing up special will have Goomba sprout wings and slow its descent. Tapping the special button again will then have Goomba flap its wings to gain some height. You can hold left or right on the control stick to move into those directions as you fly or fall, and it lasts for either 5 seconds or until you flap its wings 10 times, whichever happens first, and it does go into free fall afterwards. And as an added detail, you can combine the up special with the neutral special. Pressing the attack button while a Para-Goomba will have it drop Mini Goomba dive bombers in the same way that we see them used in Super Mario Bros. 3, having them float down in an erratic wave motion. Once dropped, the Mini Goombas will then behave like they normally do. And finally for the down special, this will have Goomba use the iconic Paper Mario Head Bonk. Using it on the ground will have Goomba jump forwards at an arc, then come down with its head, and using it in the air will have Goomba fall straight down with its head pointed downwards. Goomba will stop its head bonk if it's in the air for too long after starting it, but it is still best to be careful when using it over the blast zone. Landing on foes hurts quite a bit, but it only deals flinching damage. Though, because of this, if you can manage to press the special button again at the moment the head bonk connects, it'll have Goomba bounce up and immediately bonk again to perform the multi-bonk. And if you can keep landing the action command, Goomba will keep bonking that poor flinching foe over and over, though the window to pull off each bonk does get smaller and harder to land each time. And I am limiting it to a max of 10 bonks, after which Goomba will automatically stop. I did this since, while it would be very difficult, I'm sure that some absolute chads out there could manage to keep it going forever if they could. I mean, have you seen what some of these pro Paper Mario players can pull off? Those guys are legends. Goomba takes damage and is flattened if it ever gets footstooled, leaving it vulnerable for a couple of seconds. So, yeah. Take advantage of the tools that you have and don't let that happen. For Goomba's final smash, it calls on the aid of the most powerful Goomba, Goomboss. Which, I mean, still isn't that impressive compared to the other Underling Kings that we've seen out there. So as such, once Goomboss is out, it uses its spores to create a massive army of Goombas that give all non-Goombas a very bad time. When Goomboss appears, it spawns 2 incredibly tall Goomba towers a bit outwards on both sides of itself. Towers so tall that they pass the ceiling blast zone, so no foe caught between them can escape. Then right after, a ton of Goombas are spawned on the ground in the area between the 2 towers around Goomboss, of which the main Goomba joins. True to the Goombas, just touching them hurts. Touching the towers deals damage, getting caught in the herd on the ground racks up damage, and touching Goomboss himself deals big damage. And after about 5 seconds of this chaos, Goomboss jumps and does a large stomp, releasing a burst of energy that makes himself explode and causes all non-player Goombas and non-Goomba players to be launched all over the place, leaving only the one main Goomba. This can be a deadly final smash, but it's best to use it when foes are close by, because activating it too far away can lead to opponents being outside of the Goomba towers where it's safe. and using it over the blast zone will just have it default to the nearest edge of the stage. For colors, they can all reference the other various types of Goombas within the Goomba species, starting of course with the default basic brown Goomba. For the first alt, here's one with teal colors, referencing the colors of Cave Goombas in Super Mario Bros, as well as Gloombas in Paper Mario. Here's a gray color scheme, referencing the Castle Goombas from Super Mario Bros. Here we have one with a yellow head and dark maroon feet, referencing the mini Goombas, as well as a color that we've seen from certain golden Goombas. Then we have a green head and purple feet, referencing the Hyper Goombas from Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door. Then we have a red color scheme, referencing one of the colors of Para Goombas in Super Mario Bros. 3, as well as Mad Goombas from Super Princess Peach. Then here's a black color scheme, referencing the much more obscure Choombas from Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. And finally, as a single alternate costume, you can play as the fashionable Goombette from Super Mario Odyssey. For the stage intro, it can show a horizontal laying warp pipe appear from some blocks, and Goomba comes out of it and lands on the stage, after which the pipe retracts and vanishes. This references those pipes in various Mario games that infinitely spawn enemies, with the most common that I've seen being Goombas. For taunts, the first can have Goomba do a 2-frame waddle left and right, referencing its original walking sprites in Super Mario Bros. Its second can have it flatten itself, pretending like it was just stepped on, then turned back to normal. And its final taunt can show Goomba doing a surprise jump, then scowl forwards, referencing the animation that we see Goombas do whenever they spot Mario in the modern 3D platformer games. And finally, for Goomba's victory animations, the first can show a large Goomba tower walk in from the side, then all the Goombas in the tower just turn and stare at the camera as it pans up to see just how tall the tower is. The second can just show Goomba jumping up and down in excitement, then pose, a fairly common victory animation that we see from Goomba characters across the games. And the final can show Mario run up and attempt to jump on Goomba, only to overshoot and miss his jump, leading to Goomba to just walk into him, causing Mario to lose a life. After which, Goomba just gives a very satisfying little smirk. And that does it for What If Goomba Was in Smash? Anyways, if you enjoyed what you saw and would like to see even more characters be given possible Smash movesets, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to support the show and help me be able to make more content for you guys, you can click the join button either below the video or my main page to become a sponsor for my channel. Doing so will get you access to my private Discord as well as channel emotes. You can guarantee that your name appears in my videos, or even get the option of knowing what if character is coming up next a week in advance. I really appreciate anything that can be contributed. And of course, if you have a character that you want to see be given a possible Smash moveset, leave a comment down below or contact me on Twitter at BrawlFan1 on Twit. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching!